What if I told you that for 13 terrifying months, an entire town was stalked by something that defied explanation? A creature whose very appearance seemed to herald disaster, leading up to one of America's most tragic structural collapses. This isn't a campfire ghost story. It's the bewildering account of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and the legend of the Mothman. In 1966, an ordinary autumn evening turned into a waking nightmare, and the question remains, was this just mass hysteria, or was something truly sinister at play, pulling the strings of fate? To understand this mystery, we need to go back to November 15th, 1966. Point Pleasant was, by all accounts, a quiet, unassuming town, nestled at the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha rivers. Its history was rooted in industry, its people hard-working, and its days usually passed without incident. But on this particular Tuesday night, everything changed. Two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millette, were driving near an abandoned World War II TNT factory, a sprawling, eerie complex of concrete bunkers and deserted buildings known locally as the TNT Area. It was a place where teenagers often went for thrills, or simply a quiet place away from prying eyes. As they drove past the factory gates, their headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating something that would forever scar their memories. Linda Scarberry was the first to see it, a pair of glowing red eyes, impossibly large, staring back at them from the shadows beside the road. For a split second, they thought it was some kind of animal, perhaps a large dog. But then, as they slowed, a massive winged figure unfolded itself. It was reportedly 6 to 7 feet tall, with a muscular, almost humanoid build, dark, leathery skin, and those terrifying phosphorescent eyes set into its chest, not its head. This was no bird, no ordinary creature. Terrified, Roger hit the gas, speeding away down Route 62, but the nightmare wasn't over. As they fled, the creature unfurled enormous silent wings and gave chase. It kept pace with their car, even as Roger pushed the speedometer past 100 miles per hour, its vast, dark silhouette effortlessly gliding above them. They could hear nothing, only the rush of wind and their own frantic breathing. After what felt like an eternity, the creature veered off, disappearing into the night. When they finally reached the Scarberry's home, they were shaking, incoherent, their story so unbelievable that even the local sheriff, George Johnson, initially dismissed it as a prank or alcohol-induced hallucination. Yet, their terror was palpable, undeniable. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Just hours before, a local gravedigger named Kenneth Duncan claimed to have seen a winged man fly over his car. The very next day, reports flooded in. Marcella Bennett, visiting friends near the TNT area, saw the monster emerge from their garage, its red eyes fixed on her baby in the back seat. Her screams brought her husband, but the creature had vanished. The small town was gripped by a creeping dread. Something was definitely here, but what? The sightings escalated rapidly. Over the next few weeks, reports came in almost daily. People described a large gray winged being with glowing red eyes. It was seen soaring over homes, stalking lonely roads, and even peeking into windows. Cars stopped starting, radios crackled with static, and pets vanished. The local newspaper, the Point Pleasant Register, initially skeptical, began running front-page stories, dubbing the creature the Mothman. But it wasn't just physical sightings that plagued the town. A strange psychic connection began to emerge, particularly through Mrs. Mary Heyer, a local columnist for the Athens Messenger who became a magnet for strange phone calls and even stranger encounters. People reported vivid, terrifying nightmares. They spoke of men in black suits, silent and menacing, driving dark cars, who would appear out of nowhere, ask strange, probing questions, and then vanish without a trace. These men in black seemed to be interested only in the Mothman sightings, often warning witnesses against speaking about their experiences. Their eyes, like the Mothman's, were often described as unsettling, devoid of normal human warmth. One of the most chilling episodes involved Woody Derenberger, a local tailor who claimed he was stopped on Route 7 by a UFO and a being named Indrid Cold, who smiled constantly and spoke telepathically. Cold, according to Derenberger, was from a planet called Lanulos and had come to observe humanity. He later claimed to have many more encounters with Cold. These seemingly unrelated, bizarre occurrences wove a complex, terrifying tapestry around Point Pleasant. Was the Mothman an alien, an angel, a demon, or something entirely new? What did it want? The consensus among many residents was that it was a harbinger, an omen of something terrible to come. This sense of impending doom only intensified as the phenomenon dragged on, past Thanksgiving, past Christmas, into the new year. The town braced itself, not knowing what horror lay around the corner. The climax of the Mothman phenomenon struck with devastating force on December 15, 1967, almost exactly 13 months after the first sighting. It was rush hour on the Silver Bridge, a massive suspension bridge that connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to Gallipolis, Ohio, across the Ohio River. The bridge was a vital artery for daily commuters, carrying thousands of vehicles. Without warning, at approximately 5:04 p.m., a hangar eye-bar in the bridge snapped. The entire structure, already heavily laden with traffic, began to collapse in a terrifying chain reaction. Steel groaned, concrete crumbled, and cars plunged into the freezing waters of the Ohio River more than 100 feet below. 46 people died that day, either drowning, crushed by debris, or swept away by the current. It was one of the worst bridge disasters in American history. The timing was chilling. For over a year, the Mothman had haunted Point Pleasant, its appearance consistently linked to eerie premonitions and a pervasive sense of dread. And now, this. The immediate aftermath was chaos. Rescue efforts were hampered by the freezing temperatures and rough river conditions. Families waited agonizingly for news of their loved ones. In the midst of this tragedy, a horrifying question arose. Was the Mothman a warning? Did its prolonged presence in Point Pleasant, its terrifying red eyes, its silent flight, all point to this catastrophic event? Many survivors and witnesses were convinced that it did. Some even claimed to have seen the creature flying over the bridge just before it collapsed, or hovering nearby in the days leading up to the disaster. The sightings, which had been constant for over a year, ceased almost entirely after the Silver Bridge collapsed. It was as if its horrifying mission was complete, its prophecy fulfilled, and then it simply vanished as mysteriously as it had appeared. The government investigation into the bridge collapse later concluded that it was due to a faulty eye-bar and a lack of proper maintenance, a mundane explanation for an event surrounded by such extraordinary circumstances. To this day, the legend of the Mothman of Point Pleasant endures, etched into the collective memory of the town and cryptozoology enthusiasts worldwide. Was it an undiscovered species, a mutated bird, an extraterrestrial, or perhaps a supernatural entity from another dimension? Or, as skeptics argue, was it merely mass hysteria, fueled by misidentifications of large birds like sandhill cranes or owls, combined with local folklore and the psychological impact of living in a town with declining industry and a sense of isolation? The story of the Mothman serves as a chilling reminder of the unknown, of how thin the veil between our reality and something else can sometimes feel. It challenges us to consider what lies beyond our current understanding, to ponder the nature of omens and whether some events are truly predestined. The Silver Bridge was rebuilt, but the shadows of the Mothman still stretch long across Point Pleasant, a permanent fixture in its history, a monument to the unexplained. Perhaps we may never truly know the answer to what stalked Point Pleasant for those 13 terrifying months, or if it was truly orchestrating the town's fate. But the questions linger, burning as brightly as those eerie red eyes in the night. If you want to dive deeper into another chilling account of unexplained phenomena and unsettling premonitions, the next video explores the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident, another tale where inexplicable events led to tragedy. Prepare to question everything.